It's Sunday.
Sunday.
Hurricane Beryl, Category 2.
We're 2 days out from the hurricane hitting us.
That was Friday morning, Friday in the middle of the night, or Friday early morning.
Yeah, about 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m. it hit us as a Category 2 hurricane. So we're walking the streets right now, Luigi. It's been 2 days, and it looks completely back to normal. It's like, you wouldn't even think that anything happened here.
No, just some debris.
Yeah.
Branches. If people didn't tie down their lawn furniture or their patio furniture, that was probably gone.
Yeah.
Other than that,
there was some heavy winds.
Heavy winds, rain.
A few broken glasses, but nothing major. I mean, this is my first hurricane, and
my fifth.
This is your fifth hurricane. I was preparing for the worst. I thought it was going to be so much worse than this, and it was a breeze.
It was a breeze. That's funny.
But no, but it really was. It wasn't that bad. I mean, I pretty much slept through the whole thing. So we're just walking around, and we wanted to show you what it looks like right now, you know, what the kind of damage is, what the beach looks like, and we're going to take a look at the streets, and then obviously talk about some real estate. So what happens to the real estate here when there's a hurricane, what it looks like, you know, how the buildings are built, and are they built to last, you know? So we're going to get into all of that.
We're just getting onto the beach now.
But yeah, let's take a look at how beautiful this is. I'm telling you, if you would have landed today from Cancun and come all the way down to Playa del Carmen, you would have never known
that there was a storm.
Beach. Yeah, it's beautiful. Even yesterday, it was stunning. So
it's a little bit cloudy today.
Yeah, just a little bit, but still super sunny.
Good.
All right, so this is what the beach looks like. Tons of families. Everybody's enjoying. There's really barely any sargasso either. It's very minimal. And there's almost like none in the actual ocean itself. It's just a little bit on the shore here, as you can see. But really, really beautiful. And interestingly enough, Luigi, actually the beach is kind of like receding a little bit, but after the hurricane, I feel like there's so much more beach than there was before.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous.
And look at the amount of people. One thing to mention is, on these storms, a lot of people think that the beach disappears, all the wind takes the sand away, that there's a lot of debris and damage, there's garbage floating in the ocean. There's clearly none of that. I mean, I've seen this over and over again. Like I mentioned, this is my fifth storm. And so as a foreigner and as investors, we sometimes think, oh no, it's a hurricane zone, and so my investment's not going to be protected, the beaches are going to be gone, and I'm not going to have anything left, or everything's going to be destroyed.
It's like a Category 2, and you can see all the palapas behind us. They're still intact. None of them have flown away.
Yeah, so obviously, yes, if you get into a Category 4 or 5, there could be a lot more damage. But in terms of the structure, the actual real estate we're going to walk around, everything is built of concrete.
It's so durable.
Right? It's durable. Yeah. The only thing that would go wrong would be these palapa-style roofs. But most of the buildings don't have. This is a hotel, so they wanted to keep that Caribbean feel. But otherwise, the hotels,
like if you're living in a home,
if you're living in a house, condo, it's all concrete. Nothing's going to happen to you. And most condos, another thing to mention, close to the beach, have hurricane shutters. You close the hurricane shutters, and nothing happens.
And you're good to go. Yeah.
Okay, so look this way. So this is the beach, right? This is the first building coming off the beach after a Hurricane 2. Some say it was a Hurricane 3. The palm trees are still intact. The building's intact. There's no damage. Most people, like I said, put hurricane shutters or at least board up the windows so the windows don't even get damaged.
But like, I mean, look at these rooftops here. Yeah. I would have really thought that they would be blown away, but
no, they're not. These restaurants are back. Like I said, this is just 2 days later. Everything is back to normal, open again.
I was walking these streets. You know, I live right up the street here, close by, and there was a lot of debris on the ground, and it was all
branches.
Yeah, just some branches, lots of leaves, tons of leaves everywhere. Yeah. And I mean, it was within a day. They cleaned it all up. They're really fast at recouping.
So this is it. This is what we're looking at. So as I mentioned, if you're hitting hurricane Category 4 and 5, yes, there might be more to clean up. But in terms of the real estate, in terms of protecting your investment, like I said, as long as you have hurricane shutters, your investment, the beach, is
fine.
fine. We've been through this in the 20 years I've been here. I've been through this many times. There has been cases where, like in Cancun with Hurricane Wilma in 2005. The hurricane sat in Cancun for, I think, over 24 hours.
Which is really dangerous.
Which just kept hitting them.
Exactly.
And so
this flew by really fast.
Right. So that can happen. And there was some damage to some buildings, but generally speaking, the real estate was well built and was secured. And yes, so they had to rebuild the palm trees, rebuild some of the streets, to make it look pretty again. But in terms of the investment as a real estate investor, it was still intact. So we are a block away from the beach. This is our favorite street. If you've seen our videos, we mention it all the time, 38th Street.
Yeah.
Look behind us. These are all the trees on the street that survived and made it to the hurricane. So if you were thinking about coming down to look at real estate, if you're thinking of coming down for a little family vacation, don't worry, everything is still intact, everything still looks normal, and everything is still as beautiful as always.
7-Eleven is still boarded up. So this is what a lot of people do, is they put a lot of these wood boards just to protect the glass, because obviously the winds can get quite strong. So it's either you put some tape just so anything shatters, it doesn't break into a million pieces, or you protect yourself with some wood. This is really common.
So we're on Fifth Avenue. As you can see, it's business as usual.
It's really clean.
Everything is still beautiful. And let me just turn around so you can see it this way. Look at all the palm trees behind us. And everything is clean.
Very clean, yes.
So I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do our tradition, which is we're gonna stop in and have a cafe.
Yes, let's have a cafe, please.
A little iced coffee today.
Because we're dying of heat.
Yeah.
If the hurricane will kill you, the heat will kill you. It's like 35 degrees right now.
It's pretty hot and humid, but after the storm, there's always the calm. And so you can see that everything is calm. There's not a lot of wind. It's really beautiful. All right, so people always ask, what do you do during a hurricane? What are things to consider? If you're going to be down here, I mean, we are in hurricane season, so if you're coming down, you want to look at real estate, you want to have a little vacation, things to consider. Number one, when you want to prepare for one of these things, it's super simple. Get candles, charge all your phones and electronics,
flashlights,
download movies so that you don't require internet to watch them. Buy some books, get some candles like I mentioned, and always back up a lot of water. So
yes, that's really important. Drinking water, but also water in buckets so you can flush your toilets and you can wash your hands and you can do all that kind of stuff.
And the reason why we mentioned that is I don't use buckets. I actually use those big jugs, the Garrafons, the jugs. I fill them up with tap water, and that's what you use because most of the homes here use electricity and they use pumps to fill up a reservoir on the roof, and that is what feeds your pipes, and then they have another pump, usually with electricity, with a pressure tank to feed pressure into your pipes. If you don't have electricity, you can't get water, so you need to use water in buckets. I don't know, why would you use buckets?
Well,
buckets?
Yes, you use like your mop buckets, and it's so much easier to throw in the toilet. To flush the toilet.
Okay, well that works. Anyway, so everybody has their own little style. So that's what you need to do.
Heavy.
You need to prepare
for that.
Why is that? Because after the storm, what happens? We usually don't have power for several hours.
It could be,
it could be a whole day.
Could be a whole day. It could be 2-3 days. I mean, I lost power for 20 hours.
Yeah, so mine was about 15 hours.
Yeah.
If it's really bad, maybe a couple of days. So if you live in a building that requires electricity to cook, so you have the electric cooktops, you need to cook all of your food prior and have snacks and food that you can easily access.
I got lots of fruit.
That doesn't necessarily need to be refrigerated. Let's talk refrigerator. Since the power's out, your electricity, your frozen foods will not last very long. So you should have a cooler with some ice to keep some of your frozen foods afterwards if the electricity doesn't come back on for several days. So those are just things to consider. We just went through it. Again, this is nothing scary. If you've gone through this before, you'll notice that it's the same routine. You close the hurricane shutters. They're concrete buildings. You'll be fine. What we're going to do now is we're going to walk around. We're going to look at some buildings. We're going to look at what really did happen and some of the damage, very minor, so you can see what are the only concerns when you buy a building. There's a couple of things that stand out. Number one, is there a lot of trees thin, small trees surrounding your building? And number two, do you have a lot of glass? A lot of glass railings, glass, it's the whole front of the building all glass. If so, then your HOA, along with the owners, would have to discuss how do we keep our glass protected. So usually they will have hurricane shutters put on, or in the underground parking, they usually keep already fitted wood, some kind of mechanism to be able to just, hurricane warning, boom, they just throw it on. So your building will always be safe.
Yeah, and so they kind of like build this frame, wooden frame, and then attach the wood
frame, and they make it look aesthetically pleasing, and so they'll just throw on the wood or throw on whatever to protect the building. So there really isn't a lot to worry about. If you have a property right on the beach, I mean, you're first row, then
First row to the show.
Hurricane shutters for sure, 100%, and then put everything inside.
No furniture outside,
Nothing. Make sure everything is sealed properly, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so we are on the street. We're walking around. We got hit by a rain cloud.
Stuck in the rain a little bit.
But what we're doing is we just wanted to show you, this is a perfect example. This building is half a block from the beach, so this would be considered, if you were in a hurricane, this is like the risky zone, really close to the water.
Yeah.
But what you can see back there,
you can see these, like, this tape on these.
So those people don't have hurricane shutters. All they did was tape. We just went through a Hurricane 2, 3, and nothing happened. But it is kind of risky. I do recommend that they get hurricane shutters if a Hurricane 4 or 5 was coming our way. Now, one thing I wanted to mention real quick is this is the kind of roof I was saying. It has the tiles, those terracotta tiles. Those can go flying around if you get a really strong storm.
You can actually see some of them coming off. I'll switch the camera. And you can kind of take a look here and see.
Right up here, there's a few of them missing, you can see.
Yeah, you can see a few of them missing here. And then also something to notice is if you were to have hurricane shutters, what does that look like? So you can see here on the top floor, you have those 3 windows that have your hurricane shutters. So that would really protect you. If you had, a little bit of a stronger storm, stronger hurricane, you'd be pretty protected. So
this building, being half a block away from the Hurricane 2, 3 that we just had, absolutely no damage, just some tiles like we mentioned.
Yeah.
But this person right here has nothing to worry about. Even in a Hurricane 4 or 5 with the hurricane shutters closed, they wouldn't have anything to worry about.
Okay, so we're standing in front of a building right now where you can see there's tempered glass railings. So the tempered glass railings, I would say that's the most dangerous part if you're in a hurricane. I mean, I actually, in my building, I have tempered glass all throughout the rooftop, and there was some damage done. So there was some of the tempered glass came off and shattered onto the ground, and then there was almost like a whole side of it that was just tilted downwards, which is obviously super dangerous, but obviously they did a really great job, and within one day they took it all down so they can reinstall it. But that's one thing to consider. It can be quite dangerous, so that might break during a hurricane, but everything else, I mean, you can see it's just some wood detailing and all concrete, which is gonna stay. So
I was gonna ask you, so what happens with if that breaks, who's responsible for that?
So that's HOA. So your HOA would cover that. Obviously, that's the exterior. So if there was any damages done to the exterior, obviously that would be your HOA. So your HOA would have some sort of a reserve or some sort of fund, capital expenditure, to pay for that. And if not, then they just email everybody, all of the owners in the building, and you come together and pay a small portion just to get that done.
If you take a look behind us and up here, this building was completely finished, and after the hurricane, I don't know what happened. It got stripped.
No, it's not. This is a new construction that has not been done yet.
Monica's so boring. Come on. Okay, so right on the street, you can see just a bunch of branches.
Yeah.
Look at all this. These beautiful trees survived. So that's it. We just wanted to just reassure all of you that are investors here in the Mine Riviera or anywhere in the world where you could be in a hurricane zone that yes, it can be devastating if you're not prepared, and if the building that you invest in is not built properly or has really poor design, like a wooden roof or things like that. Otherwise, if you're in the Mine Riviera and you're investing in concrete buildings with concrete roofs, hurricane shutters, you'll be just fine.
Great.
Here's the question, Monica, what would you rather go through, an earthquake or a hurricane?
Oh, a hurricane 100%. 100%, because one, you can prepare.
Oh, wait, we're about to get hit by a car.
You can prepare for a hurricane You have time, you know what to expect, because it's either gonna be a category 1, 2, 3.
You can track it for a week.
You can track it for a week. The thing is 12 hours before, very unlikely to change from a 1 to a 5, right? So you do have that time to prepare. If you wanted to go to Merida, or if you wanted to go somewhere else.
Yeah, get away from the coast or whatever.
You have the time to do so.
Yeah.
You can proof your house, you can put the wood boards like we said, we can do all those things. Earthquake, you're standing there and it just happens.
nowhere.
And you have no idea what's going on. I mean, that's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, and
I've never been
also-
through a big one, but I can just imagine.
Well, in Vancouver, I got some little ones, but nothing major. And also in some other countries, tornadoes. Tornadoes are
yeah.
devastating.
No.
Tornadoes, they whip everything up and it can really destroy and be devastating and leave things looking like a bomb went off. So, you know, I think that we're good here. It's pretty easy to go through a hurricane if
a
you're
lot of you
prepared.
might disagree with me, but I'd rather go through this than a snowstorm. But that's just me. I hate the cold.
A snowstorm?
Yes.
For this?
Well, think about it. If there's an ice storm or a
Ice storm in
snowstorm,
Montreal,
if there's a
there
big
was.
ice storm and the
Yeah.
power goes
Yeah,
out,
of course.
I would way rather be sweating here in bed and just, playing some board games with the lights off, waiting for the power to get back on.
Than freezing.
Than being freezing. So.
Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. Well, that's it. That's
Yeah.
all. After Hurricane Beryl, this is the aftermath. We hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next video.